Good evening, everyone. Man, my camera's moved. We're going to be doing something slightly different tonight. We're going to be doing some basic painting techniques, going back. Hi, Tomo. Going back basically to basics. Hi, Catherine. We've had a couple of people asking us certain stuff about how to get started and stuff like that. So we're going to go through a few bits and pieces on. Hello there. Oh, everyone's joining in. Hi Tomo. Hi Doom Fairies. Hi Bearded Beast. Hi Craig. Yeah, it's going to be a bit more. Not a whole figure. Not everything for one thing or another. What I want to do is be able to show you some quick techniques to basically thank you for the sub, Foxy. Basically show some little cheats and stuff like that. So the other things we're going to be looking at is we're going to start doing some starter sets. This idea was given to us at the weekend. I don't know if the person's in the chat and wants to hold the hand up and say me. But they gave us some great ideas about some bits and pieces, and we have missed them. Well, what am I looking on there for? So we've got Paul. Welcome, Paul. That's that. And it is just the basics, the easy ways of doing stuff, paint by numbers, block colouring, doing the other bits and pieces like that, and what to start with. As I say, we're going to try and get a starter kit centered around Vallejo products, maybe 10 paints for the basic range, and then a brush, some washes, and some bits and pieces, a dry brush. Put it into a little box, do it as a flat starter. Throw in I think we've got some figures that we can throw in, prime them up and get them out to you so you can start having a play. Now today I want to look at a couple of the basic ones, and the make stuff so easy, and I might just be doing it on rocks or a base, but this reflects across the board, whether you're doing it on a base, a tree, a space marine. The technique works on everything. It's just very easy to show you it on a rocky base sort of thing. So that's where I'm going to start. So let's go to. So the things that we've got to show today is we've got a rocky outcrop base. At the moment it's black and it's very hard to see because of they're causing stupid manpock things. So that is what I'm going to do a lot of the demo on. I'm also going to show the similar sort of demo on a flat base so you can see it actually work on that. And some of it's already been done on one of my jobs, and then I'm going to, because that's dry, I can do the final bit and show you on that as well. So the first things are could be once you've got your piece, whether it's a base or a figure, the first thing you've got to do is prime it. Whether you do it with a rattle can or an airbrush, it's 6 and 2/3. You don't have to go out and buy an airbrush straight away. So a £10 bottle, a £10 can of primer from GW, or some people use the pound shop stuff. Depends how far you want to take it. People have had good results from the grey from Halfords as well. So, but if anyone needs to know what's good and what's not, give us a shout. We can show you some differences, sort of thing. So it's going to be primer, base coat, then a wash, then a dry brush, and then we'll see where that gets you on a basic paint job, and that is quite quick and simple. There is other stuff on the market at the moment, and Tomo's asked for me to try this on. This is a Monster Apocalypse figure called Globicus, and he is a big oozing lump of goo, bright green goo. I do have his box here, so that is. Tomo remembers nothing. So Globicus is there, but if you look at him on that, he vanishes. He's disappeared. So Tomo wanted me to try something. There is another type of paint out there at the moment. A lot of people are using it, called contrast paint. I think this is the one that's open. It looks that way. But GW released another one, and Tom was going to tell me the name. Oh, there it goes. Tom was going to tell me the name of it any second now. It's that one, Tom. You remember? Globicus is white primed. That's why he's so bright. They come and they are just... Whenever you do a model, you always prime it. Whether it's in white primer, the black primer that I've just showed you on there, or grey primer. So this is Tomo's that I've built and sorted for him. All I've done is I primed the base and Hobgoblin before gluing it to the smoke, because the smoke in white just works very well, sort of thing. And no matter how much I shake the Green Goblin, it's not going to shake this paint. Yes, I'll demonstrate with this. Once it shakes up, I've left it settle, and I should have shaken this before. Look at this workout. And people say painters don't get any workout. So this is in fact a colour called Tesseract Glow. It's a technical paint by GW. As I'll always go on about, is there is tools for the job. So you can pick up certain tools that work well for certain things. Yeah. If you want something bright, like a yellow or a white, you primer it in white. If you want some mid-tones like blues and greys and stuff like that, you do greys. If you want metallics or black, you paint in black. One of the techniques is cheese. We've got cheese. One of the techniques we've got to show you is dry brushing. And with the dry brushing, with the silver and the gold dry brushing, it works amazing over black. You don't get the same effect over white or grey. So I'll just quickly do this. And this is, again, it's taking the biggest brush going. And we're just going to... And this is extremely bright. Also, the order of what you do colours in as well. You've got to work through things like that. So, just on this one, there is grey on the rocks. I shouldn't have done the grey on the rock. I shouldn't have painted it green. You're getting the most colour down for what it is. So the biggest area is this green. So then you can go back and hit the grey bits up or the black bits up with your detail brush sort of thing. You don't need to be worrying about splashing it with this. This basically goes on quite thick. You'll hear me say go on with 2 thin coats, or try to keep it even or as thin as you can possibly go, thinning it down for other techniques. This stuff works by falling into the recesses and the high parts that was white just get a staining, where the under parts get the different colours. It is very bright. And again, if you're going to paint an Imperial Legion army, you wouldn't be going out and buying Dayglow green unless you were fairly unhinged like me. You're best choosing what you want and then looking at the palette. Some of the models like GW put the palettes on the back, what's going to be good for it and stuff like that. Don't be afraid to go, right, GW say to use their corn red, but I've already got a red. I'll just not use that corn red, but I'll use their standard red. So that's Globicus in his two forms, and I'll put them to one side to let them dry. A bit later on, hopefully that will be dried. So one of the biggest basics, as I say, is taking stuff like this and let's have a look. My go-to rock colour, again personal preference, is Dark Sea Grey by Vallejo. And look for my palette. So some bits on the palette. And what I'm going to do is using, again, it doesn't have to be a big brush, but if you've got a bigger brush that you can use, it makes it a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to use a layer brush by GW, and I'm just putting a dab of the grey on, so it's not too thick, and then just you're rubbing it in. It's a base coat, it's not massively delicate, you don't have to hit the detail. When you come to the detail, you're using finer brushes, you're using better glasses than the ones I've got on, and you're just getting all the details as much as you can. So at the moment, that rock is just a rock, and it doesn't really need any sort of massive detail in yet. Most of the detail, hi Del, will come from basically the next stages of it. So I'm just going to coat the whole bottom so the black's not blending in. I didn't realise the black would blend in on the camera so badly. There we go. So, and again, that is just using a brush, and you're getting the base coat down. This is a similar example. We're going to do exactly the same with that. It's a Dale. But what we're going to do with that is just the primer. So I'm not even going to put a base coat or anything down on that. I'll just use the grey coloured primer that we chose from the start, and that will give us our grey concrete colour with bright luminous green all over it. Other thing, always make sure you keep your area clean, not like me. Green everywhere. So once this dries, I'll be doing what I'm going to do on this one now, is do a wash. Now for grey, I use Nullin oil, GW Nullin oil. I also use Army Painter Dark Tone. But for this one and that one, I'm using it. This is just me being lazy. So I have a bottle that's half Nullin oil and half of the Lamium media, which is just the paint without the painting sort of thing. And what I can do is, so to be a bit more controlled, you take something like a number 3 brush and hit up the paintwork. So again, there's no detail, so you're just taking the null in, working it into all the grooves and crevices and stuff like that. Again, this is just the primer. There's nothing. It was straight out of the I used an airbrush, but it could have been straight out of a rattle can primer. There's a good pound shop primer for scenery. I wouldn't say use it on the miniatures, but there is a good pound shop primer for scenery. Yes, that's the number of people that do knock the paint over, especially the null-in and stuff like that, because they're a tall pot. The double thing with these is, let me just get this on here before it starts to dry. So you're just filling the holes where you can, and I'll push that there so you can see it dry. When you're painting and you shake the paint up, paint goes into the lid, and one of GW's things is that little lip there drops the paint back into the pot, but it also acts as a little palette to take your paint from without having to dip down, so you've got a little bit more control picking it up from there. The back, it will normally sit like that and fall forward, and you get annoyed and you end up snapping them. So when you push that up and spin it round, the back holds it perfectly at 90 degrees and holds it in the little reservoir there. I can't claim total design idea for it, but the idea was out there and we adapted it for just the one we had was fall every time someone pushed it or did stuff to it, it snapped them. So I am going to start cheating, because if I don't, I'm going to be sat around talking for half an hour. Hairdryer. Best advert ever. Yeah. So I'm just going to dry the paint quickly, or quicker. It's a bit warm. So the thing with this is, if you look deep into all the recesses, you can actually see that I've not managed to get the deepest recesses. Once over, I'd be that paranoid and I would then go back over it and do it all again. Now realising that that null-in is going to fill those holes anyway, it seemed like a pointless exercise, so I tend to do the base coat and then null-in. If there is any patches after that, then I tend to touch them up and make sure that they're not too bad. Yep, as Tomo says, shadows be dark. So, I'll go straight back onto the null-in. And trace it around. Hello, Jack. Should be Jack up here teaching this. I remember sitting with Jack probably a year ago going through stuff like this. You can quickly tell if the paint's not dry because it starts pooling, and you can see the grey lift, which it's just done on there. I've been a bit too quick. So basically, that's what you do. You fill it out so it'll start filling all the crevices. Hello, Van. And yeah, let those two dry. So what will happen is once they're dry, and here's one I did earlier to get the technique showing off, is on the dragon, all the base has been done in the grey and has been done. I did it in 100% null-in just because I wanted the rocks darker for the next bit. So one of our super duper all singing, all dancing dry brushes. And the same grey paint in the pot. So it is the Dark Sea Grey. Probably need more of it in a second. And then with quite a strong blue wipe, you put some grey on the dry brush and you just rub it in. So you're rubbing it into all the bristles, make sure it goes, you can see that. Now this is going to be a fairly heavy one. If you want to do it lighter for the higher colours, you just do that part less. So now, basically taking the dry brush, you just rub it across the surface, backwards and forwards. You can do it in a single direction, which would be like the sunshine coming from a certain area. If you're doing the basic one, you just want the highlights, basically the high parts of the grey picking up. And that gives the effect of, again, more shadows and the rock further up being brighter. Again, you work all the way around the model. Sometimes you can pick some back up off the palette where you've rubbed it. So I don't know if you can see the difference. It starts to lighten up. Oop, wings in the way. So that rock there, you can see one half has been dry brushed, where this half has still got the dark on it. It's more noticeable in hand, and it's more noticeable when you do a lighter colour over the top of it for the second run of the dry brush. Thing with dry brush, it dries really quick. So you can go over it. Yeah, so the dry brushing can actually do 1 or 2 stages. If, as I say, if it's... Now I've done it on the wings. Now you can see on the wings where the brass, I've done that with a silver in these areas. And on some of the backs of the hand, or the arm, I've done it in gold to change it. Struck by a highlight, smooth, real smooth. So once you've got that, you look for another grey along the lines, something a bit lighter. Nope, that's darker. I'm hoping so this is Longbeard Grey. It is already a fairly dry pot from GW. And again, you get some on the brush. I haven't cleaned the brush for some reason, is it'll blend it slightly. So the first layer you'll get where it's slightly, you can see the 2 different colours. Now this you do a lot lighter and try to hit the edges of everything. As you can see, it's picking up just the rough bits of the rock. You aim for the most spiky edges and the more defined edges on them. And if you go in the downward motion, you can see the next slightly lighter. you start to get the rock face and the different colours of the rock from different angles and the shades and stuff like that. And because I haven't done it as light on this front bit yet, I'll do it another quick, very, very on the highest peaks. Yeah, never go all in on your basing, because half the time it's just there. Imagine it as the best way I've ever had it explained. The basing is the frame of your model. If your frame is flashing neon lights and really distracting from the model, people will only ever remember the framework. Yeah, Foxy's here. I'll say you can see just to pick up the edge bits. Again. So that's 2 layers of the grey. I'd be 9 out of 10 times that would be me finished, quite happy with that. If you want to go that little extra, then go to the next level up, which is, for me, is the Praxetti white. The grey is still merging in with it slightly, but now you are just looking for the... Let me go to the bigger one so you can actually... You can see how the light... That's not the light picking it up, that is actually the paint mimicking the light. So now you're going to go with the absolute edges. Just if you think the sun's coming down there, what it would see and what would reflect the brightest bits. And there you have it. That's basically grey rock all the way up to pretty much finished rock face. Now there's still I've got tufts to go into it and a couple of bits on the back. I don't want to leave it half done, so I will. Some people would then do another wash on it, and you could actually, if you were to do a wash on it now, it would blend. Some people can pick out the brush strokes, meh. But if you were to do a wash on it again after this, and then a very, very light dry brush at the end, you're basically giving it a bit more of a blend sort of thing. But as I say, that's quick, and that's a you can. I've got to go back to. I think Martin asked up above about the X-wing ships. I'll ask him about that. I'll mention that in a minute. It depends. If you've done the paint so thick that you think you've lost detail, then it is. Sometimes it's better to strip the model back and start again. In this day and age, there's people who can strip them. We've got a I've got a want to do for Tomo. We've got a ultrasonic tank with basically a stripping compound. It's called methylated spirits, and that takes most of the water-based acrylics off. I've just got green everywhere, and I've put green on that. I'm just cleaning my brush, sorry. The worst case scenario is you have to strip it. A lot of the time you can paint over the top of it, start again, do the colour that you've messed up, go back to the base colour. If you feel that you're going to lose detail, don't be just give us a shout, we can do it. I do it for Tomo quite a bit when he's got a different idea on how. Tomo doesn't technically mess up. Tomo goes, ooh, I want it a different colour this week, and then we strip. That's fine. It actually helps. There is other people here that have asked, so you're probably helping them as much as getting information yourself, so it is always worth it. As for Martin's question on X-Wing ships, I tend to do... Yeah, exactly. Tomo's found a new way to paint, so Tomo's wanting to use that on a model that he's already painted. So, yes, Martin, I will tend to do primer. I'll reprime the X-Wing models. It just gives... If you were to do... say a light colour over something that's already got paint underneath it. Let's say, I'll just show the dragon off for one last time. So that's the brickwork, and as I say, I'll show it more. I think I've put too much water on them too. That might take a bit of drying. So I was to paint yellow over the top of that, and yellow is probably the worst one to even think about. But where you've got the red, the black, the grey, that yellow, that'll show through because the pigment is quite opaque, and you'll be able to see those colours through unless you put the paint on really thick. So spraying that quickly with a white primer gets you to a level playing ground. Everything is flat. Then the only colours going on are your colours. So when we're on about priming, the three main primers that I use is black, grey and white, depending on how I'm going to paint it. Sometimes there is primers out there. I've got a handful of them. I've got red, I've got blue, I've got green, I've got all of the rattle cans. You can use them if they're going to save you time, like if you're going to do a full ultramarine army and it all needs to be ultramarine blue, there is no reason not to spray them all in the blue primer. It just gets you off to a great start. So when I was on about the black earlier, so far this is one of the new Indomitus figures, and that has basically been sprayed black and quite a heavy silver dry brush. Now the metallics dry brush very well. As you can see, it's picked up quite a bit. I'll be going over that with a null-in wash and some null-in airbrushing. And yeah, it's a cheat or a quick way of painting something. It's so quick that there's 8 of them. And I'm just batch painting. I'll explain about that one in a second. So it's quite common to use it like that. So none of those lines have been done with anything other than dry brushing. So that is heavy dry brushing. So you can see the panel work has nearly gone full silver. But if you notice, like in nature and everything in real life, where you've dry brushed, there is that small edge all the way around the gap that is black. where the shadow is. It picks up. It only dry brushes where it can easily get to. So the same with him. He was fully dry brushed in the silver over black, but on the back I then did another black, a whole black wash again to get rid of the silver. So if you want to tone the silver down, like I'm going to on them, you just do an all over nulling wash, and that'll break, basically takes it back to. But imagine how hard it would be to do each one of those lines perfectly and get them all bright and nice and shiny. It's going to be a lot easier to get the black panels back to black than it is to get those little bits in silver. And again, most of the painting, this is Corvus Glaive. Is it Corvus Glaive? Yeah, that's Corvus Glaive. Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight from that game you're going to start playing. Right, so someone, Philippa did it for one of the competitions a couple of months back. And basically, what they've done is they've done it all in red, but then they dry brushed black. And I've never dry brushed black, and it just went absolutely fantastic. You got like some really deep recesses of dark red, just where you wanted it, and it was really effective. So I've done a couple of bits of dry brushing in black, but I've not gone to that extent. Should it work? Yes. Does it work? I don't know. I could try. I haven't got anything silvery enough to try. But again, the silver is, again, it's a GW product. And it's a tool from the toolbox sort of thing. It's Necron compound, which most of the Necrons, all of the Necrons that I did were sprayed black, then that silver, and then we did a couple of other bits over the top. So I was doing Spidey last week on the stream, and the red went really dark and quite bad. So all I did was took the Astaroth and I dry brushed that, and as you can see on the back, it's picked out really well. The only thing I need to do now is I'm going to try and drop a little bit of nulling into each one of the gaps to change the deep recesses into black, and then leave the red red piping sort of thing. So that one will be soon. So let's have a look at this. This is nearly dry. So again, ignoring the green bits, that is just grey with the wash over it. I'm going to try and dry those two little puddles up. If I can do that, then I can show you. Oh, it's way too hot. That black Necrons with silver on could be quite nice. Ow, 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 hot. One of the biggest things about doing dry brushing and washes is the dry time. So I tend to have, if I'm doing stuff like I did at the start, Globicus, and then I can jump on and do other bits, that's probably way too flooded. That was a bit of a mistake, that one. But the rocks, as you can see, it is actually sitting into the rocks and doing what it should. So now that's dry, this is just the base of one of these guys. So if you had these bases, or I went to get the ones for Legion, the Mechanicus, the premium bases. Now this works on the premium bases. I've just got loads of these kicking about so I can show you better. So spray it grey using whatever primer that you want. Just do a all over nulling wash. You get your recesses. And again, I'm going to get a different dry brush because that one's still wet. So, taking the dark sea. Do I do dark sea? I'm actually going to use the GW ones just to show you that you can use different stuff to do it. So GW have a Dawnstone dry brush as well. It is paint with just a lot of the liquid taken out, and they're quite good high pigment content. So the base at the moment, it just looks quite blotchy and as if it's just had coffee spilt on it or nulling oil spent on it. So just gently, I'll do half of it. I'll just do this half so you can see how it comes on compared to how it started. So you're starting to get the... Oop, nearly got it in the green. It's actually not on that brush. There we go. That's better. And I've said before, it's not about a great amount of skill. It's just practice and learning the techniques. So basically, you've got one half now that has had most of its stains removed, and you've got the grey upper colours. You probably do it again just to get the final. But with it being a dry brush, it doesn't, the bristles don't go into the holes, so it actually misses the holes and doesn't get rid of the wash in the bottom. So there we go. Don't dry the brushling. So what I'm going to go for now is the dark sea that I used last time, which is a bit lighter. If you look at it on the palette, that's what I've put on, that's this. And it is mixing in with it, so again, you're just rubbing it gently. You're trying to get the edges and stuff like that, and you get, there we go, we've got a much more uniform colour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a big jump. So I'm going to go to, obviously there's grey already in the brush, but I'm going to go to the Praxeti white, and that's it up here. A bit more of the grey off, and a bit brighter with the white. So So if you were doing this in a hurry and you're just doing it, what I class as batch painting and tabletop standard, where someone wants something quick on the table and ready to go, I would probably do that kind of jump and try and pick up, like on the rocks, anything will work. The way it turns it dry is by rubbing it off onto your swatch there. The first grey that I was using is just dark sea grey. It just so happens sometimes the things like the Praxetti white is good, like you'll hear me say a lot. It's good. It's a good tool for what it does. So I'm just going to go around the whole edge and rubbing. You're basically just rubbing the edge of the brush. To get the obviously I'm starting to hit the undone side now because it's just, so you get almost a marbling effect, but you've the two sides, that is just the grey with the wash. A lot of people are quite happy with the grey with the wash because it still gives the definition between the light and the dark. For 2 minutes work, that on a base looks 100 times better. I don't have any of mine kicking about to show what it looks like when it's finished. But then doing something like adding a couple of little bits of moss. We have the moss behind me. So I've got some of this stuff, and what I would tend to do is, I did it on one of Foxy's bits last week, and that's how we're going to be doing all of Foxy's stuff, is you just pick one of the little buds out and go, right, so I see grass congregating there. And now it's got a little tuft of grass in the crack. And then wherever the figure's feet go, over the top of that, you've then got a good looking base for not much work, so to speak. There's no detail in it, there's no being highly accurate, there's no artistic. You don't have to be Da Vinci to be able to do it. Even though a lot of it's just that the difference between one level and spending 10 minutes on it can really it basically puts it puts the miniature into a framework. Oh, that's good squishy. If you were doing a very disused place, you could run some green pin wash into the crevices just to give a bit more of a look of moss and gunge and stuff picking up. This is mainly, it's meant to be like New York and the Avengers movies, where it's been shot to bits and it is fairly new concrete work, but it's just been in a battlefield sort of thing. So yeah, and things like that edge, the edge highlight there that's made it really sharp and pop, is just dry brushing but rubbing the brush down the side. If you were to have to paint that on, trying to paint that around there so precisely, you would make mistakes. Using that method, there's no mistakes, just happy little accidents, or just random how it comes out. And that's the other good thing, is you're not having to rely on knowing how stuff works. You're just dry brushing, and the dry brush hits where the dry brush hits, and it gives you random aspects to the work as well. So that's 2-ish techniques. The washes from that side, and I've just shown it on grey because grey shows up really well on the stream. You've seen the silver. The silver works really well and pops really well, and silver dry brush over black, it was just made to be. I use it on all sorts. I use it on all of my black stormtroopers. So Iden Verso, that was, as I've explained before, that was exactly the same, and you can see the metallics underneath, but I've done a couple of layers of nulling over the top of it. Some of the ones that I've done was chrome, and a chrome base, like a silver base, like that, which is bright chrome, and then washed it back down to get this, but you get a really metallic black through it, but that gives the looks of a metallic stormtrooper armor sort of thing. It works really well. Again, it's another really fast method to get some of these things done. Right, I'm going to have 2 seconds and see who's been chatting. So, with it being Tuesday, and I forgot to explain, the reason we're on today is Rasta streams at work. Not Rasta stream, Nanny Bot's at work, so, and Rasta's still sunning himself, lucky git, in Italy, so we get to do some work. What I also have is, if I can find it, the gallery. So we have a huge gallery run, so I'm going to quickly go through them. I'll go to our other ones, and I can point out some of the bits on these where people have been doing it as well for you, just to see certain bits and pieces. I'm just going to move a Globicus over here. He looks cool in that. Tomo, you were right, it did work. I'll get him finished off, and if he dries, I might be able to get some dry brushing done on him. So, what we have today, discard. So, again from Mark, is one of the aggressors from the new Indomitus set. So, as an example, can everyone see my? You can see my arrow. So, it looks like Mark's done it in the red. Then he's done a red wash over the top, but Mark's also done edge highlighting, so he's picked up some really prominent edges and done a shade lighter colour down the edges. That's the flesh is flesh tone with a flesh wash. The metallics, again, the gold is very similar. There's a trick with gold. You do it in Retributor Gold by GW. It is a really high pigment gold, and it coats anything really well. And then you do like a flesh shade wash over it, and it gives that really, really popping gold, really nice gold. So yeah, the metallics, silver with a black wash, you get very similar to the reverse that I do. So Mark's done the silver, and then he's done the glowing laser bits, the plasmas over there. I think some of these have been done. This was Snowy's set of Mythos figures. Some Gribblies and his assassins by the looks of it. Brown rimmed bases. So this is a game that we're championing. I'm halfway through painting my set. So if anyone wants any information about Mythos, it's a really cool skirmish game. Very low entry level. You're talking £45-50 to start into the game. So these are from Egan. I don't think he's on today, but he's one of our regulars. I think he's adrift. No, he's not on tonight. Well, give us a shout, Ian. We've got some good deals on Mythos at the moment. So, and the new set's coming out, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks. So this is a squig. It's on the end of a basically it's on the end of a gun. And again, he's done the eyeballs. Payday. Okay. There you go. That's what it looks like. Oh, look, it's on the metal arm piece. So exactly like we were saying for the grey, Egan's done the green. So he's done the green, then he's done a wash, then he's dry brushed a highlight over the wash, and then he's picked up some of the extreme highlights with a glaze. And I'll talk about glazes and stuff later, or another night. So that's how you get... I need these bigger for you. You don't need to see my mug, do you? I'll hide behind... Oh, moved the wrong one. Discard. So again, with the greens, you've got the base green down, you've got a wash, and then you've got a dry brush and a highlight over the top of that. And that's how you get the defined fingers and stuff like that. Then you just go... This is even beyond me, because, yeah, freehand isn't my forte, so to speak, but you can start going to this sort of level. This is a banner on a standard bearer, which is probably about that big. It's really, really close detailed, yeah. So, yeah, hats off to Egan. That is pretty nice. Wolfie? Go on then. Who's going to have a clue? How's the wolf being done? Any clues? Look at the high points to see what's there. I'm thinking more heavy Agrax, or possibly a 50-50 Agrax Nullin, because there is still a brown tint to it. So there's 2 washes that GW do. One's black and one's brown. So to me, that looks like it's been a cream base, and then a Agrax or an Agrax and Nullin wash to give that. You could then put, if you do the wash all Nullin, you can then put patches of fur. So if you do it all in Agrax, so you've got the brown base, you can then just do some staining with the Nullin to give the effect of different coloured patches on the. Thanks for the follow. Hello, matey. Is that a Mr. Eden? So you've got the wolf again. He's done exactly the same. It looks fantastic. It works. It's quick. This is the gold that I was on about. Looks like Retributor gold. And then the wash in between it all. And then obviously blending the paint. So the gold is just plain Retributor Gold, not Agrax, it might be an Agrax, or it's not bright, I don't think it's the Reichland wash, so I'd say an Agrax wash. Now the glows on the engines, you could paint them blue and then dry brush white, or paint it blue to that point, the whole thing, then do that part as a slightly lighter blue dry brush, then that part as a white dry brush, and that gives you your blending. Or you could do glazing, which, as I say, I'll go through some of that. This is Kinger's. He showed us that last week. That is absolutely fantastic. I know. I've got a soft spot for Smaug. He's one of those models that I would love, but it's like £250. I think it would have to be a good payday for me to indulge in something like that. But he's about that big. Loads of detail work that you can pick up on stuff like that. All of the gold is individual, like small coins, and you can pick out all of the coins. It is fantastic. Lovely model. Lovely red on it as well. He is back to Egan and Zombicide. So the other thing is, if you're painting stuff like zombies and stuff like that, don't be too fussed about making mistakes, because you just cover them with blood. Yay! We all technologied at the same time. I'll just double check that is still working. Yeah, that still works. Cool. So yeah, Egan's done a lot of the Zombicide stuff. Let me know if that works, Ian. Again, these. So what I was on about is doing the colour and then stuff like that. So if you take this lovely happy chappy down in the left corner, you would primer the model, probably white. That's where you've got the white vest from. Probably not even paint it after that. Yes, bright colours in. There's some. We've got some models that we're going to be doing very bright soon, as soon as they land. So you would just block paint. So painting by numbers. So you look at what's going to be flesh, you do it in a fleshy colour. You look at what's white, the shirt, do it in a white colour. Red, do it in the red colour. Black, boots, do it in that. It is a monster mash. Yeah. And then you can, with that, with it being zombie and stuff like that, you just coat it in Agrax Earthshade, the top to bottom it. Quick rub over with the whole thing, and it shades it all for you. You can then do some dry brushing on the red dry brush on the legs, green dry brush, or putrid flesh, I think it's called, on the arms, and then on the white as well. And then you'd start the detail. Don't be... you basically don't need to start worrying about the detail till you've got all of the basics down. Once all the basic bits are done, the big chunky colours, you can then start going back in with a small brush, doing the arm straps, the teeth, the eyes, the belts. I think that looks like a tool belt. So that you pick all of that up later on. Don't worry about it in the first part. Cool. Have you put some, there's a gallery section, so I was just about to show you Globicus and how much I've gone over the edges, but remembering the green screen filters on, so you're not going to see Globicus. I'll show you in a second. So yeah, it's for quick easy paint jobs, it's paint by numbers. So on this one you've got the Millennium Falcon. He's gone over it in a blue and the brass with the red pipe work. it looks like I'm trying. Yeah, and then the blues had a wash over the top of it to give all of the definition back. And there's his full squadron, blue squadron. It's a nice blue, like. So, Kate has he loves doing conversions with huge hammers and big dragons and stuff. I think that's a dragon on the shoulder that he's working on, and that's one of his salamanders. Thank you, mate. And this is 8-pointed start, who's been doing Eldar. This is it. Jane, isn't it? Oh, Jean. Jean Zart from 9th Edition. Yep. Craft World Army. Well, start watching some of this, and you'll soon pick it up. Yeah, that's lovely. Oh yeah, it is. It's he paints for a living. He's better than painting at me. The mask is phenomenal. So the gem work is way beyond what I do as a standard. This is I would go as display quality to like the high end stuff like that. And white, yeah, white is one of the hardest colours. White and yellow seem to be the two hardest colours out there to paint. Yeah, it does. So there's 3 people just joined into the server. I thought we were going to get something for me to show off. Yeah. Instead we get Kay swearing on the thing, but yeah. So we're going to have... I would love to see other people's work as well. Now, I'm not looking for, obviously, this quality of work from some of you guys. Yeah. The contrast paints are really good. They're... so I'll just go to the painting one. So he's nearly dry. And albeit it's not badged up as a contrast paint, that is technical Tesseract Glow is basically the same consistency, the same way you apply it as the contrast paints. The contrast paints just go on and they do the base colour and the basically the wash in one go. It's hard to get a good flat unless you airbrush a lot. It's hard to get white to coat stuff. The same as yellow. People have found ways around it. For yellow, I tend to use an ink rather than actually paint it. Yeah. Someone did convert a Vulcan. Yeah. If you've got to paint yellow over something that you've already done, like that, then you're in for a lot of heartache. The best bet would be to go and get... where's my grey? Get the Gracer, yeah. Which is the base coat for the contrast stuff. Block in the bit that you need yellow, and then go over it with a contrast or inks. I use a lot of Vallejo inks for my yellow. I'll do it. Ulthan Grey is my go-to grey from GW. But that has unreal coating properties. And basically put that down, and then either Vallejo or one of Pro Krill's clears, and that gives the white to show through, or the grey to show through, which then picks up as a really good white. Yes, the yellow, the old GW yellow is actually quite good. There's a nice piece of poo. Top right corner. What, you mean the K-wing? Yeah, drop us a message. I've said there's a couple in here, or 2 or 3 people in here tonight that have asked about starting afresh, and the basics. And yeah, just where to start. Contrasts, the only downside with contrasts is the price. They're a little bit more expensive than normal paints. You get a little bit more, but you can use a lot more. But because I've got contrasts coming from another company as well, so we were going to do a full-on contrast. So yeah, if I can have a look how they're doing it, that would it would help me. There's a lot of different ways to paint. So the way of base colour, wash, dry brush is probably one of the oldest. Contrast stuff is about 6 months. We did the contrast. Oh, that wasn't meant to pull up. On yeah, cool. So the blue and the red on him were done in contrast. And then I did a couple of bits of mess up with the black afterwards I need to fix. But the contrast just went down, and you get some of the muscle structure automatically like jumps in. But that's literally a 2-minute contrast job. So there's again 2 ways of doing it. You can paint it red, paint it blue. Yeah, so the way that I've just shown you would be paint the red, put a wash over it, paint the blue, put a wash over it, let them dry. Contrast paints are a one-shot deal. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's got the big. So there's quite a range of them from GW. Some are good, some are quite bad. They all work best with their contrast medium, like a lot of the paints do anyway, so thinning them a little bit. The skulls that I've done are basically this. They're the contrast over the red, so you can see what it does. Don't like the purple. Which one's that one? The Magos purple and the Fire Slayer's flesh. They didn't really coat much. We've had. So this is the Apothecary white. Basically, it shades white. So you would do the whole thing. They say do it in the grey, but I've done it in the white. And then you do it, and you just lash it over, sort of thing. A bit like the wash. The only problem we've had is, yeah, we've had 2 pots of this locally, and I think, yeah, the purple ones are horrible for some reason, shenanigans. But as Dale will tell you, I've got all of Dale's clone troopers, because Dale's used this and another lad locally has used this, and it's come out quite badly grey. Even shaken properly, you can hear that we have our own agitator balls that go in the bottom of them, and all of my pots have agitators in because it does sink. You can see the line there where the white pigment's settled, and you've got to give them a good shake. That the pigment's actually starting to come away from the bottom. But I think it was batch 2 where the white went wrong, and I'll be honest with you, I think it was closer to one of the greys than actually the white. Yeah, I think it was a bad, as I said to you before, I think it was a bad batch. Yeah, not the bad batch, but a bad batch of white. Because it's worked for me on stuff, and I've seen loads of great results from it. And as you can see there, that it is quite nicely recessed and stuff like that. I don't know. I do need to see them. But that's a different way of painting it. It's a one-shot deal, quick, getting paint down quickly, getting the job done. Like I said that. Yeah. So if I can try and I'll just turn a couple of lights off. Turn all the lights off. So just going off the back. Oh god. Spooky. Try and darken the light down a bit, so you can see that without the glare from it, it's actually recessed, done all the recess stuff. Yeah, mate, it's the Tesseract Glow. It is bright. But as I was saying earlier as well, don't be too bothered about getting it onto the base. I'm putting paste on there that's going to cover all of that up. And that's the 2 Globicuses. And it's still wet. So what I would do is... Yeah, that's what I used it on the chest plate of a golem. On the chest of golem to show... It gets every. The other reason I know it's contrast is because the stuff stains. It just doesn't come off. And yeah, be very careful with contrast paints. They are awful to get off clothes. They're awful to get off the sofa. They're awful to get off whatever you get them stuck onto, and you get that sort of thing. So yes, this is it's a technical, but I'm 90% sure it is part, if not all, contrast medium, or contrast. I'll have to try it with contrast medium. Right, I was turning this way to look for something, but I can't remember what I was looking for. So what I'm going to do is, I have got some of this, which is Formula P3. It's the company that make the model as well. And I'm going to do some dry brushing with that. Then I'll add some white, do another bit of dry brushing to it. Just to give it a bit more of a glow on the top sort of thing. Is it dry enough for me to do that? Or am I pushing it too much? Yes, certain ones need them. We do these. So little glass beads, I think we do 50 for £2.50. And I normally drop a couple in. The good thing is, once you're finished with them, you can pull them back out of the pot and put them into your next pot anyway. Yeah, the glass ones are better. They're on the website, £2.50 for 50 in a little packet. We use them in all sorts, especially the contrasts. That's it. The contrasts have them all in. I think I might have pushed the boat out and put 4 in some of my contrasts just to break up the bottom. I think the white has it in as well. But don't... Everyone says to use the stainless steel ones, and the stainless steel ones are so... It's very hit and miss. I'm trying to find the one where... So, there we go. This is beige. Now, I'm going to have to hold it up to that. So this is... So can you see the bottom? That's rust, because that was a stainless steel one. Yeah. Yeah, I might have put about 20 into pots. But I learnt the hard way. Didn't ruin the paint too much because I got the stuff out there quick enough, but it did enough damage to slightly change the colour. One of them worked really well because it was a metallic. But since then, I've gone to the green. I've gone to the glass because I know it's, as Kay says, it's inert. And they just work. Technically, the stainless steel ones work better because they're heavier and they free it up a lot quicker, but they can ruin the paint. So I tend to stick to glass, especially when we sell them as well. It's daft not to. So let me have a look at... See, there's not enough in that. There's none in that one. We also tend to... Five euro. Have you? So we decant a lot of our get in there. GW bottles into dropper bottles. So you'll see me show off a bottle like that of Grey Seer. It actually came in a pot like that, and we changed them to these pots just to make it a bit easier. That one hasn't got any in. And the same with the P3 paints that I got. It's mainly down to using the airbrush. Getting the paint out of a GW pot into an airbrush can be a pain. You've got to use pipettes and stuff like that. So all my base colours for GW so far are all transferred, and I've got the pots to do the rest when I can get around to it. Yeah, I'm not going that far. And half of the time I just can't be bothered to take them back out, and I throw them in the bin anyway. So this is Nechrite Green. I don't know. I'm going to have to test to see if that's... Yeah. The problem I've got is I've got customers, or had customers, that would ask for certain colours. So I had to still be able to produce it in the GW colours. So what I'm going to do is just quickly check how close this green is by just doing a bit on the base. Is it too dark? Yeah, so if I was to dry brush with that, it would be the same as what's in the recesses. So I will pass on that. As I said, sometimes the bits down here can actually help you assess what colours to use and stuff like that. So I am going to do is Hellion Green too much? Moot Green is too dark. I do have a Hellion Green. It is a dry, so I need some. So just using the edge of the base, you can actually see that is slightly lighter. So I'll quickly see what it comes out like on. So what you can do as well is when you're going to dry brush, you can rub it off onto the cloth, and that's going to turn it into mint. Yeah, I was thinking yellow, mate. That's not one of the links. Commands. Haha. That's the ones. Thank you, Doom Fairies. Have you? Ooh. This is Protec's finest. Look. No artist opus. These are Protec. You can have a look. They're even up for sale. Protec's finest dry brushes. They're the artist opus ones. I am a brush whore, so I can't say anything. You got a nice box. I'm not going to admit to owning 2 sets of them either. I think my other set. Yeah, I don't have any of their normal brushes. I only have the Artist Opus. We sell the Rosemary and Co brushes. Again, I'm a massive fan of the Broken Toad brushes. I have all of the I have the full range. Their new synthetic line and everything. Just use them, mate. If you're going to replace them, just replace them with something like Broken Toads or the Rosemary and Co stuff. I think I've got a couple of Rosemary and Co in here. Yeah, Rosemary and Co stuff. While the owner of Broken Toad's local, and I support him, but the brushes, you'll see me use his brushes all the time. He is looking into dry brushes, hopefully. But I got them into review, and yeah, Chris is lovely. He's also allowed us to sell them, so we sell Broken Toad brushes now. So we have the full line. We don't have the full line at the moment because we ran out of some of them, literally over the weekend. The Artist Opus, the reason I bought these is to try and learn the technique that the lad from Artist Opus is doing. And I am starting to pick it up quite well. Yeah, they all come in a custom painted box. Doesn't make them any better. Let me go and have a quick look. So yeah, I've definitely got 2 sets. So that's the set that I haven't even touched yet. But as I say, I want to learn cause you do get, obviously you get the spongy things and stuff like that. Yeah, they're 60 quid for 4 brushes. Maybe fancy, but they're a bit blooming expensive. And they're just dry brushes. I'll be honest with you, I tend to use, again probably because of the price, I tend to I tend to use the ProTech ones a lot more because I'm quite rough with, that's not the one that I've just been using, I'm quite rough with dry brushing, and you can see the marks where I've re-crimped it because I've actually broken it. But these are 4 quid each, and we do various types. So there's a few different types: flat edged, small for into small areas, curved. Snowy's using these, and Snowy loves them. The cheap, they work. There's some bigger fluffy headed ones. They're good, they work. Again, Chris's stuff, Broken Toad stuff for painting. He's got 2 lines. The set of 4 Mark 3s are 40 quid for 4, but they're just good. I'll go over brush control in another back to basics thing. You can start with any of the Army Painter ones. They're all good for starting out. The points are good. There's a full range, and you probably get 10 brushes for 30 quid. We do another range, which again is Kolinsky. So this is German Kolinsky. Move that out of the way and get the light back on. And we do a full set of 10 of these, I think. It's either 8 or 10 of the pure Kolinsky ones. And they're 35 quid for 10. But again, they're not quite the patch on the Broken Toads. You pay for what you get. There's a few different types. Again, there's a few different types of brush. The Army Painter ones are all synthetic hair. These ones from Broken Toad, the Fugazi series, or Fugazi series, are synthetic, but they are as close to Kolinsky Sable as possible. And it's took him quite some time to settle on them ones. And then there is his Broken Toad miniature series 3s, which are again 40 quid. There is other Kolinskis out there. Again, we stock a couple of different ones, and we'll probably be putting some of these into the starter sets because having a good brush from the start can really help. So there's a company called Rosemary & Co, which are local. Again, they're only down in York. So I got this one off Chris to try. That's why it's not badged up or anything. And to use, and I ended up using it for everything. It's a Sable replica. They're as close to Sable as you can get, and he's took a long, as you say, he's took a long time. The best way to explain it is if you go brush to brush, same point and stuff like that. The points are the same. The amount that the hold is the same. They're just that little bit. It's hard to explain. when you're drawing a line with them, they tend to stay a little bit stiffer, so you can do. It just made me feel a little bit more in control. These are great for blending and stuff like that. These are not as good, but these were better for getting detailed work down. Where these can, I think again it's two tools, but by the same company, they've got the same sort of level of quality. So yeah, we do Rosemarine cores. I think we do Series 22, Series 33 in all of their sets. And again, there's various sizes. Yes, they are slightly longer. The other thing is they're only 24 quid for the set of 4. So they're like 15 quid cheaper. There is other companies out there. Da Vinci sent us a set to test. I've been testing theirs for the last probably for the last month. We did a giveaway with one of their sets last week. That was handed out to Steve Atkinson, won that. And who has got the other set? The other set is going to Foxy, and Foxy's going to do a review on that from his point of view. But if you saw the brushes that I've got, I probably have 200 or 300 brushes, but I have go-to ones. My go-to ones are, I use these for rough and heavy work because they're cheap, and if I break them, it's not too much of an issue. The good work, the detailed work, I'll always go to my Broken Toads or the couple of we get the only reason we get stuff sent is because of how well known myself and Protect got within the X-Wing and Legion communities. With that backing, we've had all sorts of stuff sent. We sponsored off Army Painter at the moment. What else? So there's Army Painter, Corvus Gaming Terrain. We're doing some work with a lot of companies. I can't remember half of them. Where's Foxy when I need him? There's Corvus Gaming Terrain. We're doing a lot of stuff with them. We're doing stuff for... So the Corvus Gaming Terrain are about to release a Kickstarter. So we've been printing some of their Kickstarter bits. So these are the scenery pieces that we're going to be doing some painting and reviewing of. We did a couple of their buildings already, painted them, did some tutorials for them for that. We've done a couple of bits for Army Painter. We've been using the airbrush medium for all sorts. The airbrush medium has a lot of, outside of airbrushing, there's a lot of good things I've been using that for. Thinning washes, making washes and stuff like that, and we've been sharing that. So they've picked up a couple of things with us on that. Da Vinci, they sent us some bits over, some stuff to review, some stuff to give away. We've still got to do, I wanted to do a full-on run through and test. LV427 is another printing company. They do Aliens Terrain. So we're going to be doing some painting, and we've printed about 20 of these so far, and it's basically a whole starship board. So I'm going to be, again, with them doing that. Foxy would have normally told me the other 20 by now. Parabellum Games, Conquest. We're doing Tale of Four Gamers with them. So I've got my Nords. So the centre's over a couple of starter bits for each of the games. Twisted are sending us some stuff, but that's on its way, as well as stock. But we tend to, if we like the product, we tend to send it. Yeah, we got them. We got I got the Jarl and one of the troop sets. Snowy's got the dwarves. Foxy got... No, Foxy didn't get the... Dale got the 100 Kingdoms that he needs to start. And Foxy got the evil elves, as we call them. So we're about to start a series on that between the four of us. Again, when... I've still got all of that stuff somewhere. I need to get them. I should paint the... I like the wolves. I want my wolves. Who else did we get stuff off? I'm sat here and it's probably within reaching distance. But yeah, it's just... Yes, you. How's your conquest coming on? Right, so he is definitely dry now, and what I'm going to do is... So, as I said before, Praxetti White dry brush works. What I was actually looking for is, and it is here, is the way dry brushing works is the amount of pigment on the brush. So there's less water in the dry brush paint and more pigment. So something that I picked up for my Stormtroopers and how to do Stormtroopers so quick was this. It is just standard heavy body acrylic titanium white. And they're very well. Have you got them out the box yet? So this not a, so this is just artist's acrylic paint, but the pigment content in it is through the roof, and it's great for dry brushing. So I'm going to use one of my posh ones. I'm going to use an Artist Opus. The thing to remember, if you're dry brushing white, make sure there's no grey or red or blue in the bristles, or it's going to be quite horrible quite quick. So just very lightly, because this is like the final stage dry brush, so you just want to pick up little bits here and there. Just where the face quite a bit. Now you're going to go, well, I'll be going back in and doing all of the building parts, so it's not too much of an issue. So you will see a lot of dry brushes have a big patch here. So when you do that, you can actually see it picks up layers on your hand, and you can actually see the skin. So I'm just doing downward motion with this and flicking it just to pick up bits and pieces, not all of it. And again, selective dry brushing, picking out bits that you think would be brighter. Just go to town, do what you think's right. At the end of the day, this is your model. The only person that can say whether it's right or wrong is you, because it's yours. So going into the close so you can see that. You see the edges of the... Let me see if I can... Ooh, look at that big white patch under his... Yeah, I need to do that again. So on the model, the highest points I've just clipped with the white. And it's picked it up. So whether you're doing Jabba the Hutt or anything like that, it's going to have the same sort of effect. I'm going to quickly do this one. And then I'm going to see if any of the people that were wanting this information have any questions. So the face, you can see it's picking the face out really nicely. Didn't even think of this, and I must give credit to Talmor. I hadn't picked up and thought about doing it. There we go. The camera flare and stuff like that isn't helping at all, but yeah, you've got some quite nice contrasting colours. And then the usual, this is going to take quite a lot to clean the white out because of the high pigment. So if they're still here, has any questions about tonight, I'll go back to it. As I say, a couple of people have asked for very basic, cheap starter sets, so I'll have a pop at getting some bits and pieces sorted. And then we'll do another one of these with some other bits like doing layering and stuff like that, so you can actually see the next stages of doing the normal side of stuff, not the contrast side. The contrast side also works for that sort of stuff. I was just needs to double check something. That was that one. So pausing that. There we go. I was just grabbing. Cool. In perfect timing as well, because we do dispatch on Wednesdays. So they'll go out in the morning. We are pretty good. Even during lockdown, we've been pretty decent. And wait up there. Ooh, our things have changed all over the place as well. That is cool. Oh, Venezuela. Cool. Sorry. So always, most people have already seen it, and because you requested it, the whole chat can be upset at you. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Rick, but this. Oh, look, I can even do that now. So, you know what? That might even fall into the wrong hands and go into someone's parcel. Hey! Exposed. Yes, exactly. That card made a lot of money for a couple of charities, so I don't mind doing that for the right reasons. But you lot get to suffer it for eternity. I like my automatic. It's my favourite thing ever. Shame they haven't got Expos in 2.0. So yeah, charity's got money. Everyone was happy. Because I'm I've still got a pack of about 100 of them, so don't worry. Even I've got them hidden all over the country in secret stashes. So even if someone does find my stash here, there's plenty more to be had. The worst part is, every year when it comes up to the anniversary, make them into business cards. Wow, that's an idea. Definitely won't forget me then. Yeah, every year when I did the Ice Bucket Challenge that was taken from, I always make sure I share it and comment on it. Get them planted in... Zoe and Joe were looking at doing geocaching. Could that be illegal? Or immoral? Or just bad? That's not Martin. Littering. Yeah, I think I could be done for a lot more. I'm going to have to grab some... It's one of those days where it's not hot, but it's melting. I feel like Globicus. So you happy with how Globicus came out, Tomo? So for people that don't know, this is Monster Apocalypse. It's a privateer press game. And it's something we're going to be championing soon. Look, Tomo. It's not very good. So this one, I went to do it and it doesn't fit together that well. Yeah, very Scooby-Doo. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. That's an all-in-one piece, so I'm not too... but I think I'm just going to wash that. No, I'm not as... I don't know, maybe as if I knew someone who could stick a light up its chuff. But then it's getting the light system underneath on that flat base is nigh on impossible. It may be a case we just do this as a giveaway or sell it at some point, because it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot clearer, like the dark green that I did some work with. But yeah, there is a green Globicus. And as you said, that looks mighty fine. I am... yeah, the execution wasn't too good. And yeah, I've just got to admit, that is superb. And again, it's just one of those things that... Is there a troop set to go with Sergeant Titanic? I think there is. Are you sure that that's not the one that's just come out, Tomo? Tomo is our resident expert on all things Monpok. But we just got new stock in this week. I'm just trying to remember the name of it. It's definitely not Monpok. I want to be... It is Monpok. Why is Riot Quest in there? Don't know. That's messed up. Oh. I think I've got a problem with my Monster Apocalypse. No, I haven't. I just clicked the wrong one. What was the one with a... There was something with a van. Yeah, they're out, Tomo. The scavenger vans and scrapper are for the Green Fury. No, they've just come in, mate. We got them in the last drop. If you go onto the website, Ian, and obviously Sergeant Titanica is Green Fury, if you click on the Green Fury, it'll tell you which ones are for her, or are in her thing. Tell you what I do have. You would have to really tempt me to part with it. I've got to do the old half body thing. I have a few of the promos that came out. We bought them from America. Ho ho, look at that. How deep can your wallet go? So this is the Gen Con exclusive, which has the oil truck in that hand, and in that hand is one of my poor little monkey ape friends, and then obviously stood on a building. Yeah, it's not far off that. It's I think it's it's Gen Con edition or something like that. I managed to get it out of them. We got the Brew Grosh as well, but that came in a fancy box. That was a limited edition one, and I don't know what this one is. Oh, there's a lot in here. Oh, I've been looking for this everywhere. Riot Gear Grinder set. Kong, yeah. It's my Monpok army is the Empire of the Apes. Catch you soon. I'm gonna try and do a raid over onto you, so I'll be over about 9ish, about 9:05. So yeah, this isn't my one, it's the one that I've done to sell. But this is he's the ice ape. So can't remember his name. I've got it all in front of me if I can click the right buttons. Empire of the Apes. He is the White Dejan. That's the... See, I was faster, just. But yeah, I've got King Kondo and General Hondo to finish off and paint. So they'll be coming up soon. And I need them painting pretty quick. Why did I do views instead? So yeah, that's... Monster Apocalypse stuff. Well, look, that has eventually dried, but I'll save that to the next one. So yeah, I'm going to be painting a couple of bits of Monster Apocalypse, and looking at the Riot Quest stuff. I've got a couple of bits of Riot Quest on here that I need to finish painting as well. So, general things from today is we've got the rock dry brushing and painting, getting the basics down, moving that over to that side of the base, and using some of the techniques with contrast-ish stuff. So we've got the white dry brush on there as well. So they're the basic ones. We've shown what you can do with the silver dry brush. And that's the first of the basics, washes and dry brushes, to get to this point. We'll probably do one on contrast. The only problem with contrast is I'm going to have to paint some stuff beforehand because of the time it takes to dry. You saw how long these fellas took. They were literally the whole stream. And I'm hoping I'm looking for ways to do that. There is a ability for us to raid someone else's channel, but they need to be online. So let's have a look out there. Who's online? We could leave it for 5 minutes and get Martin. So if you ever want to watch a train wreck happening in slow motion, then watching Martin and Catherine play video games online is quite interesting. We need to build up a more group of people to pass yous to and stuff like that. I'm just looking for Doom Fairies. Nope, we're still not online yet. I'll keep an eye out on them going live. So we'll be back tomorrow night. I'm going to do that bit in there's annoying me now. I'm going to do a bit of I'm probably going to try and do a figure from start to finish tomorrow night, but then we've got a bit of a surprise for you on Thursday. We may be in a position to actually put a game out. Now, at the moment, I think for ease and getting the cameras and everything set back up, we're going to do X-Wing. Just me versus Zoe for this Thursday. So that's the bit that I missed. But we're going to look at some other games like Monpoc and stuff like that. What's that promo? Krugosh. The promo was Brugosh. Yeah, it's the drinking one where it's drunk. Brugosh. Yeah. Again, one we've bought to paint and not got round to doing it, and hopefully soon, they say. Gen Con exclusive again. They gave us a load because we spent a lot of money in the first couple of months of setting it up. So let's try this. So before I disappear, thank you everyone for being here tonight. I'll see you all tomorrow night. We will have the giveaways going tomorrow night and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, some X-Wing. So I'm going to try and throw you at Martin's channel and start the raid. So I'll catch us all tomorrow if I don't see you soon. I've clicked starting the raid. Ready for raid. 5, 4, 3, 2. Click starting the raid. Raiding now.